Hi, I'm Brad with Fenter Cranes. In this video we're going to look at an area of crane safety that doesn't always get much attention, but it's critical. Bridge wheels, crane runways, and safety devices called drop stops and rail sweeps. When wheels or rails are out of alignment, or when these safety devices are missing, the results can be serious, from worn flanges and hot bearings to derailments. Your crane's wheels and rails carry the entire weight of the crane and the load. If the runway isn't straight or level, the crane will fight itself as it moves. That causes wheels to wear unevenly, flanges to chip, bearings to overheat, and in extreme cases the crane can even derail. CSA B167 makes it clear, keeping wheels and runways in tolerance is a safety requirement, not just a maintenance suggestion. So what should you look for on the wheels? So check the tread and flanges for wear, cracks or grooves. Bearings should run smoothly, no grinding or hot spots. If you hear a rhythmic knock or squeal, that's a warning sign of a misalignment or bearing stress. On many bridges, the OEM gives clear limits. For example, if a groove on the rolling surface reaches about 2 millimeters, or if the flange angle is outside the 2 to 10 degree range, that wheel needs to be replaced. And if you see a symmetric wear on the flange, don't just change the wheel. Check the runway alignment first. So runway inspection is just as important. A well-installed in-tolerance runway gives you smooth travel and long component life. Out-of-tolerance rails create flange wear, overheating bearings, and eventually structural cracks. So here's some things to check. Make sure the bridge is square, so both end carriages start and stop together. Check that the rails are straight, level, and free from excessive wear. Inspect end stops and bumpers. Both bumpers should strike the end stops at the same time. Bumpers shouldn't be cracked or distorted. As a rule of thumb, most crane OEMs and as well CSA guidelines allow about 3 millimeters over the full span for parallelism, 1 millimeter over 2 meters for straightness, and 2 millimeters over 2 meters for levelness. So if you're outside those numbers, it's time to correct the runway. Now let's talk about drop stops. These are also called anti-derail devices. They're small plates or brackets fitted near the wheels to prevent the trolley or the whole bridge from lifting off the rail if a wheel flange climbs. They don't do anything during normal operation, but if a wheel lifts, they can keep the crane on the rail. You'll find them either in the behind the wheel, and sometimes they form as part of the front bumper plates on the end truck. In either place, it'll drop down over the rail. Inspectors should always check that drop stops are actually present, securely fastened if they're of the bolted type, and not bent or worn. Missing or loose drop stops can turn a small misalignment into a major derailment. Another simple but important safety feature is the rail sweep. This is a small brush that pushes debris off the rail before the wheel reaches it. Sometimes the drop stop can act as the rail sweep when it's on the front side of the wheel. It does the same thing as a rail sweep, so having the one in the right place and at the right height will do the same thing, right? So in that case, you don't need a rail sweep and a drop stop. Your drop stop acts as your rail sweep, right? So think of bolts, slag, or other debris left on the track. Hitting that at speed could cause a derailment. So rail sweeps need to be mounted just above the railhead and should not be bent away. If they're worn down or missing, replace them right away. They're inexpensive, but they protect your crane from major accidents. So here are a few quick tips from the field. If you see a wheel flange wearing quickly, don't just replace the wheel. Measure the runway first. Rail bolts may have come loose, or welds may have cracked. This is common, especially in runways that have been around a while, right? With all the movement of the crane running up and down, bolts come loose. Welds crack over time as wheels wear, and the crane might wear unevenly. These are things you should look for as you're doing an inspection of your runway. Always check that buffers and bumpers strike evenly at both ends of the bridge. And as I said previously, make sure that your bumpers or your buffers are not cracked, not distorted, not broken, right? They should both be the same size. Believe it or not, we've seen it when bumpers are two different sizes on opposite sides of the crane. So, I mean, the obvious thing that's going to happen is the crane's going to hit and swing into the other bumper, right? Damaging either the bumper, the crane, the wheels, or helping the rail bolts move or crack, right? For wheel bearings, follow the OEM grease recommendations and keep a log. And remember, CSA B167 requires all of these inspections to be documented and kept on record. So, yes, here's some key takeaways. Keep your wheels and rails in tolerance. Make sure drop stops and rail sweeps are in place and in good shape. Don't ignore the warning signs of flange wear, noise, or vibration. Preventative inspection and simple parts like rail sweeps can save you from the cost of a derailment or unnecessary downtime. So at Fenter Cranes, we provide full runway surveys, wheel measurements, and OEM spec service, right, on safety devices like drop stops and rail sweeps. And once again, all our training and information videos are available on our YouTube channel, Fenter Cranes. So please like, subscribe, and follow us for more crane safety and maintenance insights. My name is Bradley Sliedrecht. I'm the president of Fenter Cranes. Thanks for joining me.